question, how important is your credit to you? Have you been monitoring it? Have you been avoiding it? Have you been wishing and hoping that things will turn around for your credit score? Let me tell you something. The most important step that you can take when it comes to building and improving your credit score is monitoring your reports. So in this episode, I want to walk you through the process of how to retrieve and pull your credit reports so that you can know how to read them and understand them for your benefit. If you're ready, let's go. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. Hi, everyone. It's Sophia Melone, the Debt Demolisher, here to bring you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you manage your financial baggage the right way. Welcome back to another episode of the Debt Demolisher TV, where we are here all about education. And today I want to talk to you guys about credit. Why do I want to talk to you guys about credit? Because to improve your credit means that you got to be able to look at the reports. There are so many times where we have instances where we don't really understand all of the intricate details behind what is in our report. And not only that, we really don't even know how to access it. Well, I'm here to walk you through the process of how you can access your credit reports for free each and every week because of these pandemic times. And I want to show you exactly what you need to do, how you can pull it up, how you can request it, where you need to save it, and then how you can save it for later so that you can be able to review it in more detail later on. But before we go into the walkthrough, let's talk about the importance of credit. Let's talk about why you need it. Let's talk about why you would like to have a score that's 720 or higher at minimum. At minimum. My goal in this video is to give you some guidelines that you can use to assess against your own reports, as well as maybe even your loved ones. So when it comes to looking at your credit report and why you even need to have good credit, we have to realize that credit impacts a lot of things. It can impact our ability to obtain a job. It could impact our ability to retain a job. It could impact our ability to acquire wealth through property and real estate. And it essentially impacts the cost, the amount that we pay for the debt that we plan to borrow. Because the truth of the matter is this: credit is designed to be leveraged. Credit is designed to allow this economy to go around. But your job and your responsibility is to gain access to that capital at the least cost possible. And the only way that you can gain access to wealth and credit is by having a very positive credit score. When I tell you, once my credit score passed like the 750 mark, the 800 mark, that is when offers started to go off the bunkers. My highest credit score was an 847. I was 3 points from perfect. My credit score today is an 838. And the reason why it's an 838 is because I did some things last year to take advantage of the downslide in the economy due to COVID. I leveraged some things, I refinanced some things to chop the cost, to chop down the length of time so that I can be able to repay things faster and do that at a much cheaper price point. I leveraged an opportunity and I knew that it was going to cause my score to go down, because as long as you understand what makes up your credit score, what items on your credit report, and how the algorithm works, you will never need credit repair. I say this all the time. If you understand the algorithm, you will not need credit repair. And this video is designed to give you somewhat of a high-level overview of what that algorithm looks like. Now, I've done videos to literally walk through the entire 5 parts of the credit score model and what that looks like and how your scores are derived. I'll link one of the episodes up here so that you can check it out. But high level, just speaking to this video while you're here watching, your credit score is broken down into 5 components. And that is your payment history, your utilization on both credit cards and loans, your length of history, meaning how long you've had credit in the aggregate, the number of inquiries, hard inquiries that you have on that you've applied for, meaning that you've applied for credit. And then last but not least, the number of new credits opened. So when you think about your credit score, and when you think about your credit activity and what that looks like, You want to be looking at each and every area of these elements within your credit report because you know that this is what is driving your score. A lot of times when you're looking at your credit score in these different apps or these different software systems or on your different banking profiles, they may not necessarily give you the actual breakdown of why your score is derived in the way that it is. Sometimes, depending on the app that you use, it will tell you what is causing your score to be what it is. Now, that is just as important because that will give you the indicator to let you know, if I work on this area, then I know my score will go up. If I work on this area, then I know my score will go up. But a lot of times we don't want to look at the source of what's driving our score, which is the actual credit report. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but I have definitely shared this information either in an email blast to my email list or on a random post on maybe Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever platform I was using at the time, and even in conversations where I've had live interviews with other folks or on different platforms or even on this platform, I've shared that you can access your credit report every single week for free because of the pandemic times. This has been going on since last year, since 2020. April of 2020 is when this started, or it may have been March. So this has been available to us since last year. I want to say maybe March or April of 2020. If you go to annualcreditreport.com, and I'll drop the link down in the description box of this video as well. But if you go down to annualcreditreport.com, you will see that there is a banner across the top that tells you that you can request your credit report for free each and every week due to the pandemic times. Once per week, you should be able to access your credit report. Now, this was supposed to end in April of 2021 this year, but because the pandemic was still going on, they actually extended it. I just checked the website today and it's still available. So I want to ask you guys, when was the last time that you actually looked at your credit report? Even if you don't even understand what's on it, even if you don't understand what you're looking at, when was the last time that you actually downloaded it, requested it? Because you know, once the pandemic times are over, you'll still be able to get your credit report at least for free once a year. But now we can get it free every single week. So I've been encouraging my clients, I've been encouraging my people to go to annualcreditreport.com every single week and get your report. And you can get it from all 3 credit bureaus for free, and you shouldn't have to pay a dime. And what you do when you go into annualcreditreport.com, you'll go into request your credit report, you put in your information, you can download it, save it to the very computer that you're on so that you can review it later. Depending on what type of freezes may be on your account, if you have been subject to identity theft in the past, or if you have been fallen victim to that, sometimes you may have to fill out like a physical form to request it. If that happens, just print out the form, mail it, and send it in. But that's if you want it from all 3, because maybe 2 out of the 3 will give it to you instantly, and then maybe 1 you have to print out the form and send it out. Depending on what happens in your credit profile, you may get all 3 that's available immediately, or you may have to download, maybe you may have to fill out the form and send in manually 1 or 2 of them, because you know your 3 credit bureaus are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So those are the 3 major credit reporting bureaus. And again, these are not federal agencies, so don't be confused and think that credit bureaus are the government, because they are not. Those are private companies, and the only thing that they do is they are responsible for housing and reporting on any delinquencies or positive behaviors as it relates to your personal credit report that's tied to your Social Security number. So if you don't know how to read your credit report, if you don't know what you're looking at, that's a separate conversation that we can have offline. I normally do one-on-one coaching sessions to walk through that piece and explain what each element within the credit report means and how to actually read it. So that's another conversation, but I want you to get into the habit of looking at your stuff. I want you to get into the habit of looking at what is the driving source for the score that you have. I want you to get into the habit of understanding how your credit scores are derived and what's reported in your report. Because here's the thing, there are discrepancies that can be listed in your report. And if you don't review it, if you haven't pulled it, you will have no idea. You will have no idea, especially if you don't have any alerts or anything that's being sent to your email, if your credit or if your social security number is being used for credit. So the best way, especially in these times where there's a lot of fraud that's prevalent and there's a lot of hacking that's going on, you want to be looking at your credit report, because if you don't have credit monitoring procedures or credit monitoring services in place, then you got to be the credit monitoring service for yourself. And that is why they're allowing you to review and access and retrieve and pull down your credit report every single week, in the event that you just may be a victim of fraud and you don't know it. So if you don't have a credit monitoring service in place, then I need you to follow me as I walk you through how to go to annualcreditreport.com and pull it down yourself. So let's go. So as you can see here, when you log on to, or when you open up any web browser and you go to annualcreditreport.com, it is going to take you to this URL, and you see that this is the only source for your free credit reports that is authorized by federal law. So if you go to annualcreditreport.com, what is it that you see right here on the screen? Huge. During the COVID-19 pandemic, accessing your credit report is important. That's why Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are continuing to offer free weekly online credit reports. I told you guys before we jumped into the presentation of this website was that before it used to say until April 2021, but because we're still in the pandemic, they are continuing to offer our credit report access to us free on a weekly basis online. So to do that, this walks through the steps of how to access and get your free credit reports. You're going to fill out the form, you're going to pick the reports that you want, and then you're going to request or review your reports online. Okay, so again, when it comes to your credit report, remember that this does not include your credit scores. There are different measures and different outlets that you can take to get your credit score for free. And I share that in another video as well of how you can access your scores for free. You want to make sure that you're monitoring this on a frequent basis. What does it say here? Monitoring your credit reports regularly is an important part of being in control of your finances. Come on, somebody. You got to look at your credit report. This is the stuff I be preaching on my channel. How to be in control over your finances also includes you looking at what's on your credit report. So don't be afraid of any prior behaviors that you may have had that you may feel ashamed about. Don't be afraid to look at what's going on, because until you look at what's going on, you won't be able to address what happened and fix it going forward. So if you want to improve your credit score, if you want to take your credit score to over 800 like mine, I've been able to keep my credit score at over 800 since 2017. I told you guys that my highest score was 847. Right now I'm at an 838. And I'm telling you guys, it is possible. It is possible, because when you understand the credit score algorithm, you won't need credit repair. So let's jump into what you need to do to access your credit reports for free. You can either click this icon or you click this icon. I'm going to go ahead and click this one. Once you click that one, it's going to tell you to go ahead and request the form. So you're going to request your credit reports. You're going to fill out the form. You're going to put in your name. You're going to put in your birth date. You're going to put in your social security number. You're going to verify your social security number. You're going to put in your current address. You're going to put in if you lived at that address for 2 years or more. If you lived at your address for less than 2 years, then you're going to put your previous address here, and it has to be within the US. And then you're going to go ahead and click next. Now, once you click next, it's going to ask you which reports you would like to request. Now, remember I said that you can get your report from all 3 credit bureaus for free. So you know what I want? I want all 3. I want Equifax, I want Experian, and I want TransUnion. Now, before we click the next button, I wanted to show you that there is some common questions that normally populates at the bottom of the screen, and it's asking you, should you order all 3 reports now or spread them out over time? Now they're saying that the answer depends on you and what you want to look at. So let me tell you why I normally make sure that I request all 3 at once. I request all 3 at once because I want to be able to compare and contrast. I want to be able to see what's reported in Equifax versus what's reported in Experian versus what's reported in TransUnion, so that I can see what the timing differences are, what the discrepancies are, if there's any differences between the reports that I could potentially dispute or have them to correct. So for me, in my opinion, I always encourage people to, or my clients to, request all 3 of them. Get all 3 of them so that you can be able to look at them individually and compare and contrast to determine if there's any discrepancies that need to be corrected amongst all 3 of them. So let's go to next. Now, once you go into next, you'll see at the top banner here, it has the steps that you take to actually get the reports. So you see we filled out the form, which was the first part. We finished the second part, which is picking out the reports that we want. Now it's a matter of reviewing our reports online. So in this piece, they're going to walk you through each credit bureau, right? Each credit bureau so that you can get your report. So it's going to ask you to enter in the last 4 digits of your social security number so that they can confirm your request to be able to access your personal credit data by whatever credit bureau this is. And in this case, it is Equifax. Now, let me tell you this. When you do this, it will show up on your report as a soft inquiry. It's going to show up on your report as a soft inquiry, but it's not going to hinder your score in any way. The only inquiries that have an impact on your credit score are, and also on your credit report, are hard inquiries. And hard inquiries are those where you physically go in and you fill out an application to apply for some form of debt. You fill out an application for them to run your credit report or to run your social security number to determine if they are going to approve you for a loan, approve you for a credit card, or even in some cases, approve you to rent a home. So you want to be very careful with your hard inquiries. You want to be very clear each time someone is asking you for your social security number, what that social security number impact is going to have on your credit report. So you want to make sure that you're clear on that before you just run off giving people your social and telling them to run stuff. And you don't know if it's going to be a hard inquiry, a soft inquiry. You don't know what's going to show up. And the next thing you know, you crying to me because your credit score doesn't drop. You got to be careful about sharing your social security number, period. So you're going to put in your social security number here or the last 4 of your social and click continue so that we can go on to the next step to finish out the reports. Okay, so now what's going to happen is you're going to get a series of security questions that you're going to have to answer, and it's going to ask you what questions apply. Your responsibility is to go through each of those questions, fill it out to the best of your ability, and you want to make sure that you aren't making any mistakes in answering the question, because if you do, then it's going to lock you out and you will not be able to retrieve your report. So read each question carefully. If it doesn't apply, click none of the above. If it does apply, make sure that you're selecting the correct company or the correct lender or whatever they're asking you for, so that you'll be able to access your reports. So this piece is extremely important. So make sure that you're choosing the right answer. So this is what I was talking about. Sometimes, depending on who the credit bureau is, they will not be able to provide the information, or they won't be able to verify your identity. So what they're asking me to do is to print out the request and send it in by mail. I'm very familiar with this because of the breach that has happened with Equifax. So for me, I can never get my Equifax reports online. I always have to send in the form and mail it in, which I don't have a problem doing. So because I know that this is the case for me, I'm just going to go ahead and skip it. But let me just show you guys what the form looks like. So this is what the manual form will look like. You will print it out because you cannot fill it in, but you'll print it out. You put your social security, your date of birth, you fill out all of that information, and then you will put in the details so that you can sign it and send it in, circle in the credit reports that you want, and then go ahead and mail it in. As I said down here, it'll take about 15 days to be processed, and then it'll be mailed to you. So you can do the manual credit report request form as well. All right. So now that we have that, what you're going to do is you need to repeat each step so that you can get your credit report. So click here. So when you click there, it's going to take you so that you can get your next credit report. So we're going to click get next. And now it's asking me the same thing to verify my information. So this one went through without a problem. So it's going to pull up your report. It's going to give you your name. It's going to give you your report number. It's going to give you the date that it was generated. You'll click over here to print your report. Once you click print your report, it should open up in a new window. When it opens up in a new window, you're going to save it as a PDF. So that way you can have it on your computer and you can view it later, or you can print it out immediately, whichever one. Once you've been able to do that, then you want to go up here and click get your next report or finish. All right, so now we can go and get the last report. As you can see, as you proceed through each one, it's going to check off the box to let you know which ones you have. So now this is the last one that I got to go ahead and move to. So let's do get your next credit report. It's going to process. It's going to take you to TransUnion site or whichever site is next. And then your job is to read through this page and then put in any verifying information that they're asking. So in this case, they're asking for the email and the phone number. Once you put in this information, you'll go ahead and click continue so that it can give you your last report. Because they ask you for your email and your phone number, they're going to ask you, how do you want to receive the passcode? So depending on how you choose to receive the passcode is what you will actually get. And then you have to go ahead and put in that passcode. All right. Once you put in your passcode, it's going to tell you that you're all set and the request has been processed. You're going to click the continue button, and then it will actually produce your reports for you to be able to save it and download it. Now, it's telling you that if you find an error or if there's some form of inaccuracy, you have the power to dispute or fix that information. When it comes to reviewing your credit reports, you want to make sure that it is free of inaccuracies. So you got to look at that thing, you guys. You have to look at it. And if you're not sure in terms of what you're looking at, how to look at it, how to review it, that's when you actually need to book a session with me so that I can walk you through it, explain everything to you, ask you the questions that need to be asked so we can confirm whether or not if something is an error, and then what the process needs to be to go ahead and dispute that and get it cleared up. Because your job is to make sure that your credit report is clean of inaccuracies, because at the end of the day, that's what these companies are here to do. They can't vet and verify and validate everything, so to speak. If something gets reported under your name, then they're going to put it on there. So if you haven't applied for a credit card, if you haven't applied for a loan, I remember there was a time when somebody tried to buy a boat in my name. Yes, I was a victim of identity theft. It's no joke. So if you aren't looking at this stuff, if you aren't monitoring this stuff, it's going to be right on your credit report. And then you're going to be wondering why your score is going down. And it's because there's a debt on your credit report that you probably didn't even commit to, that you didn't even oblige to, and they're not paying on it. And now your credit score is going down the drain because you don't even know what's on it. So I am here to encourage you and show you what steps that you can take to begin to go into action. Because what did I say? This channel is all about action, and this channel is all about making sure that you're doing things to take control over your finances. And this is one way of doing it. So my challenge to you is to get on this website and go and download your stuff. As you can see up here, there's an icon that says save and print my report. You're going to click save and print my report. Once you click on this button, it'll give you the option to print the report, save the report. Make sure that you save it. So that way you're going to have all of your reports. If you were able to get all three of them at one time, downloadable instantly, or if you have to submit the manual request to get at least one of the reports, so that way you can compare all three once they come in the mail. But make sure that you do this. Make sure that you do this. So go ahead and click save and print once your icon comes up. Now, once you've had everything saved, you've done everything that you need to do, now you can go to, they're trying to get me to sign up for some stuff. I don't need no more stuff, y'all. But if you want expert tips, if you want how-tos, if you want to learn more about the credit algorithm, you can sign up for this stuff, but I'm not going to sign up for it because I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and click the X. And then once I've been able to get all of my reports, I can click here and it's going to say, are you sure you would like to return to annualcreditreport.com? Before you leave, you will not be able to retrieve your free credit report again for another week. So you see, it's telling you a week from today is the next time that I will be able to gain and request my report again. So I say, yes, I want to go back. So I'm going to go back to creditreport.com. I've been able to get all three. My session expired, but it's fine because I got all three of them right now. So this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to go on annualcreditreport.com and request your reports, save your reports. You literally have no excuse now because I just walked you from the beginning to end how to request your reports from this website for free each and every week until next year. I think that's probably how long it's going to be. But right now, so while you have access, I need you. If you need to schedule it in your calendar, schedule it in your calendar to pull your credit report every single week if you need to, especially if you are trying to improve it. Because if you're trying to improve your credit score, and I'm going to take my glasses off because, you know, I need to take my glasses off sometimes. If you are trying to improve your credit score and you have no idea what's going on with your report, you have no idea why you have the number of inaccuracies on your report, this is what you need to do, y'all. Look at your stuff. And there were tools and there were accesses and there were links, there were resources there on those individual sites, on TransUnion, on Experian, asking you, did you want to dispute something? Do you want to clear something? Is there anything that you need to review or adjust? You have the autonomy to do that. But before you jump into disputing, I want you to take a look at what's on your credit report and understand, is this an action that I need to be taking right now? Is this something that I need to clear up? So here's what I'm going to do, especially since I have the ability and the capability to run my report every week. I'm going to look at my reports, see what changed amongst them. I'm going to send in my request for the manual one from Experian. It's probably going to take me about 15 days to get it, but that's okay. I'm still going to go ahead and do it. And when I get them back, I'm going to look at each and every single one of them, compare them side by side. Now, because I have two already, I'm going to start looking at the two that I have, and I'm going to start looking, is there anything that changed? Is there any inaccuracy? Is there anything that's misreported? Because I'm going to ask them to clean it up, because at the end of the day, they need to clean it up. If there's any misspellings in your name, if there's any misreportings in your Social Security, if there's any misreportings in any of the credit accounts that are listed there, you can dispute it. You can dispute it, but there is a process and a way to do it. You can do it online, but it's always best to do it in paper. It's always best to do it in paper. It's always best to have that physical copy. And you want to be careful between what you activate and what you touch and what you reinstate as a result of disputing something. So that's another conversation for another day. If you got questions, you can just let me know. If you have no idea how to review your credit report, you have no idea what you're doing, I would highly suggest that you book a one-on-one session so that way I can walk you through the details and really help explain everything to you. And then we can figure out what the best approach and the best strategy should be to help get your credit score to newer heights. Okay? Because if you want to be in this 800 credit score club and you want to stay in the 800 plus credit score club, then this is a conversation, and these are the actions that you need to be taking. I remember there was a client that I helped, I want to say a few years ago, and I have an interview with him, and I'll link it up here as well. But he went from a 619 to 800 in like 40 days because of the coaching, because of the practices, because of the conversations that we had, because I was walking him through things and he was giving me the information that I needed so that I could assess the situation to say, hey, you probably should do 1, 2, and 3. Listen, there is power in this. He had a goal. Number one, he had a goal. He had a vision. He wanted to get his credit score to a point where he could get it so that he could be able to acquire his house. He was ready to be married. Y'all, my friend just got married too. Shout out to Marcus. Congratulations to the DeShields. I'm super excited for you and Erica. Congratulations, 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 congratulations to them, to my friends. So yes, he had a specific goal and a specific vision in mind. And let me tell you something. He came in, he said, okay, Sophia, this is what I got. This is where I want to be. I said, okay, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then broke out into strategy mode. And let me tell you something. Within 40 days, his score went from 619 to 800. And do you not know he got his house? Do you not know he got his wife? Come on, Jesus. And do you not know that he still knows how to keep his credit score improved? Why? Because he now knows the algorithm, because he now understands the algorithm, because he's put in the work, he's done the work, he knows. Come on, somebody, that credit is designed to be leveraged, right? And it's supposed to be a fluctuation in your credit score every month if you know what you're doing, if you're using it right. Come on, somebody. So even if your score goes down a little bit, let's say you reach 800 and it goes down just a little bit, it goes down to 740. It's all right because you know how to get it back up to 800. You know how to get it back up to 847. You know how to get it back up to 838. Come on, somebody. That's all I got for y'all today. Okay. So it's Sophia Melone, the debt demolisher. I want to remind you guys that your financial prosperity awaits you, and get into action. Jump on annualcreditreport.com, request your stuff, replay this video if you need to, because I gave you a thorough walkthrough step-by-step of what you need to do and how you can request it. And then if you have questions, once you get it on how to read it, then you book a session. Links are in the comments. Links are in the description box. And I hope to see you guys on the next episode. All right. Have a good one. Bye. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia